Hi there, I recently got the NOOK M10 HD Tablet by Barnes & Noble and Lenovo, and I had the full intention of using this for a little while and reviewing it, but I've had it for a day now, and I cannot stand using this thing. If I have to use this for a day longer, I will have to throw it out the window. It is really frustrating, and today, I'm not really doing a review because I've honestly only had it for about a day now, but I did want to do a first impressions video. This is probably as far as I'm going to get. I'm not going to review this thing more than a day, but I think it's worth talking about. It's a very interesting device. I don't think it's a good device for reading. It's a Nook. I don't know what they were thinking. This is not a good device for reading books. I would not recommend it. But let's talk about it and let's get into some of the details. Okay, so first things first, this device is not an e-ink display. It basically is. It is an Android tablet that costs $129 that they've branded as a Nook. If you're buying a device for reading like a Nook, this is being branded as a Nook for reading books. You want a device that will let you read in a focused way. I don't want a device that's going to distract me with other apps. This device comes with things like Google Chrome, YouTube, and you can go to the Play Store and download any other app you want. It has so many distractions. I want to read on a device that lets me read mindfully. And reading on a device like this, I don't think is a mindful experience at all. Now, there are a few things they got right about this device. The build quality on this thing is beautiful. It's a nice metal design. It's very premium. The glass feels really nice. It just has some weight to it. And it has a really sturdy design. I think it's a really nice tablet. I think it's really beautiful to hold. And I do enjoy the build quality. I do enjoy the premium feel you're getting at a relatively low price point as well. A couple other small things. It does have USB-C, which is unheard of in the world of e-readers right now. Having a USB-C connection is beautiful. I do admire that. But again, because it's an Android tablet, you kind of expect that. It's not like an e-ink device. So because of that, it's cool, but I can't really compare it against the Kindle Oasis or any other Kobo for that matter. I would kind of expect this to have USB-C. It'd be ridiculous if this came with micro USB. It also has two cameras, camera on the back, camera on the front. Again, we're in the territory here of talking about this like a tablet. It's really hard to put this in the same league as a Kindle, for example. Kindles don't have cameras. Kindles don't have all these apps you can download and stuff. So it's really hard to compare. But again, it does have some nice things about it in terms of build quality and some features like cameras and microphones and speakers, things like that. Now, putting the whole e-ink thing aside and my whole rant on this being an Android tablet, if you're buying a device that is meant for reading and you're selling a device that's meant for reading, even if you put it in the form of a tablet like this, you want the reading experience to be the best it can be, right? This is a Nook. They should make reading on this tablet, even though it's not e-ink, they should make it as good as possible. And they didn't even do that. The display on this thing is not even a full HD resolution. It's at 1280 by 800 resolution. It's just not even full 1080p. It makes no sense to me. The resolution is garbage when you're reading a book. The text is all hazy. It looks like mashed potatoes almost. I don't like reading on this thing. And that just makes me wonder why they put a display like this on here. I understand they're saving money by having it cost $129. That's a really low price point for a tablet like this. But if you're going to market this device as something you're going to be reading on, at least put an HD display on here where you can read comfortably. I can read better quality text on my phone, on my iPad from like 3 years ago. All of these devices should have a good display for reading. This really falls short, and I'm really surprised that they cheaped out on that one important factor. Putting everything else aside, they should have put a full HD display on here. Now let's talk about the software experience on this device. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but I'm an Apple guy, so setting up an Android tablet felt a little off for me to do. I haven't really done that before. It was really interesting, and I have to say, it's basically like a regular Android tablet that I could think of. They just put their own Nook software on top of it. So when you open it up, when you set it up, all the basic setup and all of that, it'll log you into your Barnes & Noble account. Then you immediately see all your books come on the home screen with some widgets everywhere that are like predetermined when you log in, which is cool. You have all the basic Nook stuff that you would expect. It's actually very similar to the layout you see on the older Nooks. And I like that if you already have a Nook and you're getting this device, you'll have an easy transition to that in terms of the software. But again, I wasn't a fan of the old Nook software either. I think they decided to just get the Android operating system instead of reworking their existing software. And I don't know if that really worked out for them. It still has all the bad quirks of the Nook software. I don't like highlighting on this thing at all. I'm a big highlighter when it comes to reading books. I like having a bunch of highlights and taking notes. And when I drag my finger to take a note on the book that I'm reading on the Nook over here, it doesn't do it. It has to do one word at a time. So you have to select one word first and then drag the cursor afterwards to highlight a whole sentence. It's just so much extra friction. I haven't seen any other competitor do that. Kindle and Kobo both allow you to highlight without any problem. Even on the tablet, you have to do the one word at a time thing. So it's no longer about the hardware, it's just the software. That's how they choose to do it. I find that very, very frustrating. And it's also very sluggish. This has an octa-core processor. They put it on the box like it's this blazing fast processing speed. It really isn't. It's really slow. It takes a long time to open things up. I've had many mistaps on this device as well. It's quite frustrating when I'm trying to tap something and something else opens up. I've had it crash on me a couple of times. So again, you kind of get what you pay for. For $129, you're getting a full-fledged Android tablet with some Nook software on top, but I just wish they put some more effort into optimizing the Nook side of things to make it at least a pleasant reading experience. They kind of just left it all the same and threw it on the Android tablet. It also has this really annoying face identification thing to unlock the device. It doesn't work half the time. Maybe it doesn't work well with my beard. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't unlock really well. And it has this haptic motor, so it vibrates every time. It doesn't recognize my face. So you can see I'm complaining a lot about this device, and that's because there's so much random junk on there. I don't need a Face ID to unlock a reading device. It's just so much distraction. I don't think you should have that distraction when you want to read a book. Like, I wouldn't get this device and just open my book. I would probably do a bunch of other things because there's so many other things going on. One more other thing that's going on is the camera. And I find this quite hilarious, actually. The camera on the back of this device is kind of in the middle of this black circle. And the camera itself is like 2 millimeters in length. But they made a cutout for the black circle that covers the camera to be about 1/2 inch. And I think they did that to make the camera look bigger than it actually is. The quality of the camera is not that good, and the front camera is not much better either. But they kind of went out of their way to make the camera look nice, even though the camera itself, if you look closely, it's very, very tiny, and the quality is very, very bad. Now, one really good thing about this device that I actually do admire is that because it's an Android device, you can go into the Play Store and download apps like the Kindle app. And I could read all my Kindle books on the Nook, which is quite interesting to say the least, but it's kind of just like having your phone. I can download all the apps on my phone and read the books the same way I can on here. And I would rather buy an iPad for a little bit more money, or even an older used iPad that would still be better than this in terms of the display and the speed of it. I would rather do that than use this device to read books for my Kindle, Kobo, or Nook books. It doesn't matter what software you're using or which app you're using. This tablet just does not do reading justice. And again, if you're buying a device for reading, I don't think you should get this device. I really wish Barnes & Noble and Nook, I really wish what they did was, rather than making a whole new tablet like this and making it branded as a Nook, I really wish they just updated their existing Nooks. All they had to do is make it a bit faster, optimize the software a little bit, and release a new version like that. That would have been a serious competitor to the Kindle and Kobo. This device is just in its own league, but it does not do a good job at all. I can't recommend it. And again, I had the full intention of reviewing this properly, but I just can't get myself to read on this device because it's going to hurt my eyes and the highlighting doesn't work. There's just too many things wrong with reading on this device. Forget the Android part of it. Forget the fact that it's not an e-ink display. The quality of the display is just so bad and the software is not helping either. I'm really curious what you think. I know I just ranted for this whole video about this tablet over here, and I'm sure I'm missing a few things, but if you have thoughts about this, please leave a comment down below. I want to have an honest honest discussion about this. I'm just so perplexed with why they made a device like this. If there's something I'm missing, please let me know. These are just my honest thoughts. Check out my older videos from the old NOOK Glow Light 3 and the Glow Light Plus. Those NOOKs are actually proper e-ink devices, which I think do a much better job for reading. They do have their own problems, which I talk about in those videos. Link for that on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.